Everyone, you reach Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all of you out there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Hit the like button, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. And share my video with your friends and family so that they can come to my channel and get to know me also. I'm here today with my tea time moment of the day. And listen, guys, wait, let me hold up my gorgeous cup. I love this cup. And if y'all didn't see a previous video of mine, this came from Barnes & Noble. I absolutely love this cup, okay? I love going to the bookstore. It's just my pastime. And I love to read. But this tea time moment is dedicated to Miss Robbie, formerly from the show on OWN called Sweetie Pies, and her son, Tim Norman. So the other day, Tim got sentenced to life in prison, and rightfully so. And he got sentenced to life in prison for the crime of plotting to take the life of his own nephew. We're talking his blood nephew, okay? His brother's child. You're talking Resident Evil right there, right? You have got to be the evilest person on this world, or at least one of them, when you're going to have a plot to take the life of your own family member. Now, he's not the only person in the world has done it. There are fathers and mothers that took the life of their own children themselves. So these things happen, unfortunately, right? But Tim was accused and convicted of taking or being part of his nephew losing his life. And a lot of people are saying, what's up with Miss Robbie? They're giving Miss Robbie the side eye. They're pissed at her, pissed because they're saying, you know what your son is, okay? You know that your son did this. And you won't even speak to the family of your nephew, Andre, because you're so connected to and dead set on, helping and believing in your son. Now, this is a real definition I'm going to give you guys. It's called a mother's love, the definition of a mother's love. Okay, so this definition is defined as, and y'all can Google this and look this up. I'm not making this up. It's defined as a protective and possessive affection, which a mother will typically display towards their children throughout their life. A mother's love, motherly love, is considered a possessive affection where a mother will protect their offspring at all costs. Where a mother will protect their offspring at all costs. This is Miss Robbie. Do I believe Miss Robbie knows that her son has a defect, that he's evil, that he's mean, that he's a whole lot of things? I do believe she knows that. But it says that a mother's love, they will protect their offspring at all costs. And that's what Miss Robbie is doing for Tim Norman. And that is why she will not go speak to the family of her grandson, who is no longer here, because her main priority is protecting her offspring, and her offspring, as evil as he is Tim Norman. Now, let's talk about the things that Ms. Robbie went through in her life. She had a son. Her grandson bared his name, Andre Montgomery. He was born 1961, and in 1995, he lost his life due to a fight he had in LA, and he was stabbed, and he did not survive that stabbing. He was 34 years old. So the toughest thing for people to go through, they say, is for a parent to lose their child. They say that, children are supposed to bury their parents. And when a parent buries a child, that is one of the most painful, horrific things that a parent could ever go through. I mean, if you follow Ricky Smiley, he's dealing with that now. The loss of a child. And no matter if your child was lost through a disease process, taking their own life, or losing their own life due to a substance, or, losing their life because someone else took their life. The pain is the pain. The pain, just because the situation may be different, the pain doesn't change. Miss Robbie lost her oldest child, 34 years young, in 1995. Then she has, Tim Norman, who at 17, he was doing the most with his life. He was into what he was into in the streets. The gangs, the drugs, the robbing. He first went to jail because he robbed 2 McDonald's in another store at gunpoint. And at 17, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Served the whole 10. Got out at 27. Now, while he was in prison, he took theater classes. He came out, wanted to be a rapper, wanted to act. Promised, he swore, I will never turn back to crime ever again in my life, because he didn't like his stint and his time and everything that happened when he was in the prison. So much so, when Tim came out, he was actually talking to youth, saying, listen, do not do crime. You don't want to end up there. It's brutal. It's nasty. It's mean. So he was talking one thing, but internally there was something else going on within him. Because he had a lot of that pent up anger and memories, perhaps, of what happened to him in jail or in prison, whatever word you want to use. And when he came out and joined Sweetie Pies, and he's the one that pitched the show to OWN. I don't know if many of you know that. He pitched this show to OWN. Came out 2011. They have their show on OWN. He's on there, doing well for a moment, sort of, kind of, but not really. Okay, got on OWN. While he was on his stint on OWN, he got arrested because he put his hands on an employee. While he was on OWN, his own mother had to sue him for using her name incorrectly and for misappropriating funds. During that time period, he was dating another reality star, Jennifer Williams. She had to put a restraining order out on him for stalking her and other things. So when many people ask, then is Miss Robbie delusional? Of course she is. 1, she knew her son's past. 2, she knew her son's present. She knew that he had a short temper, that he put his hands on people, that he was pretty much unhinged. If anybody knew, she knew firsthand. Now, some people say the apple don't fall far from the tree. Well, and that's why many people are giving Miss Robbie the side eye. They saying that, Tim got it from somewhere. They saying Miss Robbie had a little temper too. And they had evidence of it, because they had evidence when Miss Robbie spoke to her grandson. Because at some point, and it was chronicled on the show, Miss Robbie was robbed. Her house was robbed. Now, this is very old school, when you just keep money in your house in the safe, under mattresses or whatever, because you don't trust the bank. So Miss Robbie had an astronomical amount of money in her home. Only people that would really know that would be a family member. It had to be an inside job. And so Tim, because he's evil, most people speculate and are 10 toes down that he's the one that took the money. Never proven. But what Tim did as a distraction technique is he blamed it on his own nephew. Then he got in his mother's ear and convinced his mom, knowing how much she had mother's love for him, that she would do anything for him. He convinced his mom that Andre took that money. And what did Miss Robbie do? She got on the phone, got to cursing her own grandson out, telling her grandson, you better give me back my money. You're evil, you're mean. And the reason why Tim was able to convince his mother of that is, 1, because he knew he had his mother wrapped around his finger, and 2, because Andre, he had his own struggles and his own past. And I'm sure Tim was in Miss Robbie's ear saying, look, he done crazy stuff before, even though Tim has done crazy stuff before, like rob McDonald's and stuff at gunpoint. But what Miss Robbie decided to do, because of her mother's love, she sided with her evil son over her grandson. And so when her grandson, lost his life, and just like many others started to get different clues and evidence that 100% it was Tim Norman, I think what Miss Robbie did is she packed that in a part of her brain that wouldn't let her deal with the fact that the only son she has left is now possibly going to face life in prison, which he did get that sentence, and that, her grandson is gone, and her grandson is gone most likely because of her own son. How does an 82-year-old wrap their mind around that situation? And so, although I don't excuse anything that Ms. Robbie has done and is doing, I don't know if I quite understand her dedication and loyalty to her own son. I would like to sit here and say 10 toes down that if that was my son and I had all of that evidence, that I would not support him, that I would do way different than Miss Robbie. It would be easy for me to say that right now. But there are a lot of situations where you can't truly say what you're going to do until you're in it. There's a lot of things in my life where I said I would never. But then when I personally got in this situation, I did something different. I said I would never, ever in my life take a cheating man back. But child, when I was in that situation, guess what I did? Took that lying, cheating, dirty dog back. So I try to now not be so quick to judgment. Now I got my opinion, and I'm going to say my opinion and be 10 toes down on my opinion. But I will never and can't say that for sure 100% if I was in this situation, I would do something different. I would like to believe I would because I know my standards. But it's something about your offspring. It's something about your child that can always pull on your heartstrings. And you will go against your own good sense to help that child out. So Ms. Robbie, although everything that she does seems very delusional, messed up, wrong, and like she's just has just as cold as her son, I partially get the wall she is backed up against. Because it's like, no matter what, you want to believe your kid. You can see all the evidence in the world, and your heart is like, oh my God, I can't believe that my kid would take his own nephew's life. Now, I think at this point, especially because Tim is serving life in prison, and listen, he can appeal all he wants. Ms. Robbie's going to be wasting every dime, and she pays for him to appeal this thing. I think Ms. Robbie should go to Andre Montgomery, her grandson's family, and say, you know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize on behalf of my son. I apologize on behalf of myself. And I know there's nothing I can do to bring Andre back, but I want you to know that I am sorry. Now, Ms. Robbie, as they like to say, she has more years behind her than she has in front of her. And to me, she should make good and peace with herself so that she can sleep well at night. And just go to his family and say, you know what? Please forgive me. Now, listen, guys, chat with me in the comments. And when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. Let me know how you feel about Miss Robbie in this situation. I get it. She's delusional. I get it. She's off her rocker. But I also get it that it's her son. And it's her only son that she has left. And my thing is, now Miss Robbie's legacy is gone. Because your only grandson that carried your name is gone. Your other son, he's in jail for life. He's gone. So Miss Robbie is dealing with so many losses herself. And I just say, have a little compassion for that. No matter how this thing goes, whether Miss Robbie apologizes or never apologizes or whatever, we cannot bring Andre Montgomery Jr. back. But can Miss Robbie try to right some of the wrongs? Absolutely, she could. Even if she goes speak to the family, do they need to forgive her? I have to forgive her? No, but Miss Robbie should make the attempt. Listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. Let me know your thoughts and how you feel about this situation. Hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next video. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Have a good day, guys.